So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!" I want you to get up right now.
Hello and welcome to the Helping Friendly podcast on Sunday, June 5th, where we are all of you. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
I'm not
Probably
mad.
not.
I'm going to take all of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take all of this, whatever it is, whatever this ridiculous band is going to give us, I'm going to take it. Because the ride, the journey, the unknown, that is the best part. Welcome.
The risks.
The risks.
The risks are the reward.
Yeah.
The face plants into rock. We're here for it. The good, the bad, the great, the transcendent, the waves of hose, if you will. Gotcha.
Yeah, save that for later. But I just want to compliment you, Brian, for getting that live video of Fish Twitter today.
For real.
I just combed Twitter and got all of the tweets and I combined them, and that was the video that the internet sent to me.
That popped out.
So welcome to the Helping Friendly podcast on June 5th. My name is Brian. I'm here with Megan and Jonathan. We have an excellent guest who is going to be joining us here in very shortly. Dave Schlesinger, marketing, special projects, a ton of other stuff at Section 119. We were really, really stoked to be talking with him about last night's show. We don't know what's going to happen tonight. Who knows? Nobody knows.
We could talk about it, but we'll all be
We
wrong.
could predict it. Do you think you could write a set list for tonight?
I'm halfway through it.
Ooh, you can bring it to the pre-show.
There we go. We'll bring our set list to the pre-show. But we're going to be talking with David here soon. Today's episode is going to be focusing on last night's fish show, the second fish show of a 3-night run at Deer Creek, the penultimate night of this spring tour run, whatever in the world it is that you want to call it. I'm really excited. I'm going to just give away the lead here right now. I really enjoyed last night's show for a variety of reasons. And I'm excited to talk about those reasons. Yeah. Lots of spoilers here, but I'm just going to give it away. Like I enjoyed that show. I thought it was unique. I thought it was fun. I thought it was playful. I thought they put some songs in places I didn't expect, which always kind of like perks me up. There were some cool little micro jams, and there were some killer jams in the second set. And the encore, yet another argument in favor of encores. But I digress.
I'm taking all of that personally from the band. All of their, most of these encores have been pretty good, and
it's all about you, Jonathan.
Worth sticking around for. So, thank you, Fish.
I actually agree, Brian. I thought last night's show had great flow, like really well played. For those people who love to count flubs, a lot less to count last night.
I got to 20. No, I didn't count.
And then you stopped counting after I was 3 songs in.
I thought it was a really fun show.
I really can't wait for us to get to later in June when we don't have any new fish to cover, and we can do this new series that we are calling Listen to 1994 Fish and Count How Many Flubs There Are, because that is going to be really good content.
It's fun.
That'll be in between the Sandwich podcast and the Weather podcast. I do have a question for the two of you before we get into the serious business at hand, which is determining if last night's show was good or not, which I think I've already given away a bit of my feelings on it. But
everybody expected it from us, Brian. We're the fluffers. Come on.
We are. All we do is fluff.
Well, I heard that on Twitter somewhere.
Yeah.
And that is right.
We don't read.
So we have a slow llama now. We have a slow maze now. We have had a slow poor heart in the past. We've even had slowed down versions of Big Black Furry Creature from Mars, if you can believe it.
And Water in the Sky has been slow and fast.
And then fast, and then slow, and then fast again. It went back and forth. It didn't know what it was doing.
different pacing at one point too.
Rift was very slow in the beginning. When they were playing fast,
Mhm.
they were
Also
playing
different
Rift slow.
music.
What was up with that? Do you think
Yeah.
Trey just couldn't play the chords on Rift? Like, what was up with that?
He was like lazy that day, I guess.
Yeah, he's tired. Had a bad sleep in the van.
I mean, that Plymouth Voyagers from the late 80s, early 90s are pretty comfy, but when you put 3 other dudes in there, plus Kuroda, plus Brad Sands, it's got to be tough to sleep in there. Megan.
So good too.
Oh, my God. Those seat cushions could tell stories. Megan, tell us if you could pick any other Fish song. Oh, good call, Uncle Jemima. Slow Brother
Brother.
NSG. Not sure if it was intentional or
Oh.
just started weird. I think it started weird, but good call.
Yeah.
Very historic call. Megan, if you could hear any Fish song be slow, what would it be?
I don't know if they could actually do this, but I would be curious to hear what Rebo would sound like slow.
That would blow
So-
my mind.
Not
Taking-
during like the compositional part, but like all the singing, that part. I mean, it's really fast. I don't know.
John, what do you get?
I don't have anything creative or different here other than to say I want to hear Slow Poor Heart again.
Yeah.
I loved Slow Poor Heart. I want it back.
How many times did they do that? Did they do it? Okay.
I was just a handful of times in that fall, and they did it at Hampton, and I think I saw it one other, and they did it a couple other times. Somebody on the comments probably knows. I didn't bother to look it up,
That'd be so cool.
but it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go through a couple comments that we have from our listeners who are talking about this. First and foremost, Chris R. Shout out. I will not tolerate any slow maze slander. That was so fun.
Yes. Yeah.
So fun.
Then when I start reading tweets, Chris, plug your ears.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go on the Fish Twitter.
Ben Gardner, guest yesterday. Anybody else like me who was at the show last night who looked around during slow maze and saw a sea of happy people who were smiling and laughing, or was it just me? That is a point I like to raise every time they play backwards on the number line. 7:28:17. I sat behind the stage. They play backwards on the number line. I saw a lot of people I see on Twitter in the crowd smiling and dancing, and I was like, "What is wrong with all of you? You all hate this song. Why are you happy right now?" It's a strange.
You were in
moment.
the perfect spot to like document their hypocrisy.
I was like,
Brian. That
you
would-
and you. I'm not going to name names. We're not going to do that. But I was like, you and you.
Thank you, Kevin
Mark-
Hogan, for the correct number of Slow Poor Hearts.
Knew somebody would have
Four.
it. Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hogan asked for a slow more.
Jesus, I think they would break Twitter.
The
So
Twitter
let's
would
do
just
it. Let's have it.
explode. It would
It's
just
a great,
explode.
great play on words too. No more.
Slow more.
Mark Douglas wants a slow ghost, and you know what? I think
Ooh.
Mark is giving a
Yeah.
hat tip here to like 97 and 98 Ghost, and I'm
Yes.
right there with him. I would
Totally.
love. Ghost is not a fast rock song. Ghost, it should be like
Sexy.
very sexy, and
There you go.
fast and riffy is not really sexy. Let's just be
Mm-mm.
honest here. We need the sirens. One more from Ben Gardner here. First they came for Llama and I said nothing. Then they came for Maze and I said nothing again. I appreciate that we have found our listeners because they interpret this band the same way that we do. In terms of what I would want from a slow version, someone said this morning on Twitter and I'm just going to steal it. And I think Megan, you actually sent it to us. So a slow sloth would be really, really, really funny.
Oh, I sent that. That
Um,
is Brian Colligan out there from Twitter who sent that, and my man is right.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Somehow we've never had a slow sloth.
It'd be a good one. So we will continue debating the merits of Fish's performances, slow or fast, for the foreseeable future. But before we get into last night's show, I keep saying tonight, last night's show, which was June 4th, 2022, we want to tell you about our sponsors at Sunset Lake CBD, whose line of smokable hemp products are for the infant deadhead, like my daughter Ingrid, who wears Grateful Dead pajamas every night, if she chooses to,
Oh.
or the bitter old fish fan who's getting slower in their own ways and taking their time
I feel seen.
and forgetting things, but is demanding that as the band gets older, they only get faster. He's searching for the mellow body high. Smoking CBD has all the benefits of high THC cannabis without the paranoia or the anxious side effects. There are 9 different strains from this year's harvest, and there is something for everyone. The Hawaiian Haze is awesome for an outdoor show, maybe like Deer Creek. Cherry Abacus is best for the end of the night, maybe like when you're about to walk up on stage and play a slower version of Maze. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. All the flower is grown, cured, and trimmed by Sunset Lake CBD's farmers. Even better, Sunset Lake CBD's farm-to-table approach gets you great pricing and premium CBD flower by shipping directly from their farm to your door. We love Sunset Lake CBD. Everyone who's ever bought Sunset Lake CBD loves Sunset Lake CBD. You, yes, you, all of you, should go today to sunsetlakecbd.com. Use coupon code HFPod for 20% off all products. Sunset Lake CBD. Farmer-owned, Vermont-grown. And with that...
Brian, before we bring on our guests, can I show you something really quickly?
Sure.
So I received a birthday gift that I really wanted to show you both.
No
What?
way. That is so sick.
Yes.
Where-
How
Wow.
cool is that?
Where's mine?
I
That
know.
is
Soup's
It's
jelly.
just
That's
so
amazing.
in the
Beautiful
middle.
as well.
My sister and my
I
brother-in-law
need
did
that
that
right
for me.
there. I
Isn't
love
that
that.
awesome?
That is
Over there.
amazing.
I can hang it right
That's
next
gotta
to my
be-
album art.
Oh, that is
I just
incredible.
want to show you
stuff.
that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What a great gift. Your sister got that for you?
My sister and brother-in-law, yeah. They're
Oh,
amazing gift givers.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, I'm
Well,
using
I'm spreading
Sunset
the
Lake
word of the
CBD
title
right
for me.
now.
Look at you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's bring on David. Let's
Good.
talk about Deer Creek Night 2. David, how are you,
What's
man?
up,
Welcome to
guys?
the podcast.
Hey, David.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Going great.
Thanks for having me. Sorry my face is so close to the camera. I'm actually in the car on the lot as we speak.
That's all right. We could
Oh,
all get
so
closer
good.
to our cameras if it makes you feel
Yeah.
more comfortable.
No, I'm not that insecure. I'll be okay.
Okay.
You are the one on the lot, though, which you are the one that
Hmm.
wins this, regardless
Yes.
of where we are in position of cameras. How are you doing? We are the third morning of a run at the same venue. It's always such a fun morning to wake up on. You're like in a routine. You kind of know your way in and out of the venue. You kind of know like the lay of the land. How are you
Yep.
feeling here today?
Super excited. It's a little cooler today. It was like 90 yesterday, which was a nightmare. I'm actually being treated to some air conditioning right now while we're doing this, which is wonderful.
Nice.
Perfect.
It's great. I mean, it's a Sunday show. It's the last show of the tour, so they've got a lot of things going for us tonight. It would be lovely if the gates could figure out how to get people in, knowing that there's going to be a rush at 7:15. Huge chaos every night. I mean,
You-
they've
you'd
been doing
think they'd
concerts
figure
here
it
for how
out.
many years? I mean, this place has been
I know.
around for a while. It's just like,
It's insane. How could you not
But-
know how to manage the crowd at this point?
right? But let that be my biggest complaint,
Yeah, I hope
true.
so.
It's interesting how you go to these return venues that the band has played at, and it's like MSG knows we know how to get people in, but some of these Midwestern venues are like, we're just going to fight against it. Like we're going to fight
Right.
against their pace. Like Dick's knows how to get people in. They have
Yes.
they have an idea of it at this point in time. But you go to some of these places in the Midwest, and they're like, we're just not going to give in to all of you. It's like, just work with us, man. We'll work with you, and everything will be okay.
chaos.
But tell us, so you saw the first night as well as last night?
I did.
Awesome.
I can say it is globally. Last night, the sound was spectacular, where the first night was super muddy. Got a little better second set. I sat in the same exact seats both nights, but last night sounded just way better.
Just
Definitely
like
saw
right out the
some
gates.
comments yesterday about having trouble hearing the vocals and stuff from
Yeah.
some people out there on the first night. So I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear they worked that out.
Yeah, I couldn't hear any of Fish's little samples, and like none of them, they didn't come through the first night, and he hit it a lot. Like it just sounded
Wow.
like a sample. I knew there was something being said, but I had no idea what it was.
Interesting. That's always
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
Was this your first time at Deer Creek, or have you been there in the past?
No, I've actually been to a ton of Deer Creek shows. Back in the days, I saw the Grateful Dead here, 91, 92, 93, 4, and then I saw Fish in 96, and that was my last time here.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So it's been a
That's
while.
so cool. Such a
Yeah.
fun way to return. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
huge coming home party. I'm from the Michigan, so Midwest was like my run. You know, the
Me too.
Chicago, Buckeye Lake. You know.
Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
from Michigan too. So yeah, I haven't been
Oh,
back
right
to
on.
Deer Creek since 95 either.
Oh, right. It's
Mhm.
the same but different. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I've
got to
only
get back
been
there.
in I've only been in 2010, and it was one of those venues that like I walked in there and I was just like, I get it. I get why everybody talks about
Yeah.
this place. It looks like your standard amphitheater, but there's just something
Yep.
about it that's almost unexplainable, and you just feel it when you walk through those doors.
Yeah. And let me tell you, the vibe, I mean, the shakedown, it's like nothing else. I mean, there's no security. There's nobody saying no to anything. They let it run to like 1:30. It's super fun, super
Fun.
chill.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like the old days. It reminds me of like the good old days of just like fun, super good vibes everywhere.
Honestly, that's like a reason why I want to go back, because I miss that like old kind of like unregulated fun scene. I love that. That's
Mhm.
so cool to hear that.
Yeah, it's great.
That's
And we've
awesome.
been vending here, you know, the last couple of days, which has been super cool. Really great opportunity working with Section 119. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you're doing on the lot and what some of the vending and how that's been going. You're obviously you're working for Section 119, good friends
Mhm.
of the pod here at HFPod and
Yeah.
Osiris. Overall, tell us kind of what it's been like being on the ground and how it's been for you.
Yeah, so you know, we have incredible apparel, you know, elevated stuff, really cool styles. You know, it was a challenge to decide what to bring, you know, because it's super warm, but we've got some really great lightweight hoodies that'll be cool for nighttime. We've got our short sleeve shirts, our polos, you know, bandanas, socks, you know, little things that people want on lot, a belt, you know, stuff like that. Tons of donut stuff, tons of Grateful Dead stuff, and great response. People love it, you know. We've been really fortunate to get, you know, a super warm welcome here, hustling all day long. We had to get here super early the first day, and super early to me was like 8:30. Meanwhile, they let people in the night before. We had no idea, so we were like the last
Wow.
ones to show up.
Oh wow.
Oh man,
Whoa, that's
Yeah, it was
crazy.
wild. So fortunately, a friend had saved a spot for us, so we were smack dab in the middle of shakedown, which is just perfect.
that's
Nice.
awesome. Right
Yeah,
on.
it's super cool.
Good
So yeah, anybody
reception from
that's here,
people on the
come visit
ground.
us. Sorry.
Said good reception from people on the ground.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
Awesome.
Really cool. Really cool.
That's great to hear. That's
Your stuff is
incredible to
so
hear.
great. It's just designed so well. It's just really
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you. We have some great women's stuff coming soon too, so you're gonna get excited.
Awesome.
Cool.
A lot of great new styles coming out.
We are
That's
still in the
great.
time of year here in Denver where I can throw on the donut hoodie at night, and it's like just the perfect. It's heavy enough but light enough that I can wear it in the early summer. It's awesome stuff.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, we did one with the whale jumping through the donut. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's amazing.
seen
We
it.
whipped it out super
That's
quick. Just a couple days after the MSG show. Yeah, and it's been going like
Nice.
hotcakes. We have like 6 left.
oh, that's
Wow.
awesome. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into it. So you've been on site, you've been vending, you've had like probably 2 very busy days, and you're going into the shows afterwards.
Yep.
How are you feeling going into last night's show, and anything that you were hoping to hear?
You know, I've always got my dream songs that I want to hear, you know, some realistic, some not. You know, I always take a Forbin. I was really lucky actually. The last time I did this with you guys was Shoreline Night 1, and we got the Forbin, which was super cool. A lot of talk of a sloth opener last night. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
It would have been super cool though. You know, we thought it was going to be a no repeat summer or no repeat spring. And then that was proven wrong the other night. So I guess really, you know, it's anybody's game. And like I said, it's a Sunday show, end of tour. So really, you know, it could be wide open. I think some fun game head stuff would be awesome. I'm a ballad guy. I love the slow ones. I don't know why they get my heart. So, I mean, I could take a Brian and Robert would be great. I love Sleep. I love Sleep Again. Both those songs just rock my world. So we'll see what happens.
You're in good company here. We're ballad lovers too.
Yeah, we can get down
Yeah.
with that.
2021 was just filled with so many good ballad performances. There was a Farmhouse from Dick's I was listening to the other day that just like they added something extra to it that they don't normally, and it was gorgeous. I loved it.
Yeah. Great.
So they come out and they open. I thought it was a really interesting first quarter of the show. Turtle in the Clouds. Great opener. Always reminds me of Caswell Vox. Undermined.
Yeah.
And Drift While You're Sleeping, which came really early in the show. What were some of your highlights from the early part of the first set?
Wait, I kind of lost you for a second. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're right. I was just. What were some of your highlights from the early part of the first set? The Turtles, Undermined, and Drift While You're Sleeping segment.
Yeah, it was cool. Turtle in the Clouds, it never really kind of breaks from what it is. It's super fun, goofy, fun way to start a show. Undermine, weird placement, I thought, but super cool. It was good to hear. Drift While You're Sleeping, I like it. People hate on that song. I don't know why I like it. I read that people they didn't like the placement of it. It's a cool song, and I love when it jumps into that calypso. It's just super cool. And then for some reason, when it starts jamming, I get a Rush vibe. It kind of gets proggy on me, so it's just a cool tune. And I'm never going to be mad at that song.
I thought it was really great in that spot. Like, I think it was the earliest that they've ever played that song in a show. Yeah. It's usually either closing a first set or a second set or in an encore. And it felt like that jam, like you're talking about, the proggy jam, like really just hit the crowd and hit the band in a way that like it took the energy up another level. Megan and Jonathan, what were your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm with you guys. Turtle in the Clouds has, it's just got some like pretty melodic and harmonic work that just I love, absolutely love, whether they do the dance or not. So I think that's kind of a great opener. Undermine, yeah, I mean, I could see it as unusual placement, but I'm happy with the placement. After Turtle in the Clouds, it's give everybody some proper like Fish Chugel dance, stuff, even if it doesn't, go long or deep. And yeah, this is really great placement for Drift While You're Sleeping. I think it's early. It's kind of a, it's a structured song, but it's got a nice peak and finish. And, having a lot more fish ahead of you for the night is, a good place to leave you after that song.
Yep.
Yeah, I love the Turtle opener too. I mean, I was listening back this morning because I was out last night and couldn't watch the show. 7 a.m. and I'm already jumping up and down in my kitchen, like yelling house party. Like that is just the vibe you want when you're starting a Fish show, right? Like I also think that song is just awesome. It's like amazing to me that at this point in their career, they can write these songs that just sound so creative and just so interesting and different from other stuff they've written. I love it. I thought Undermine sounded great there. Really well played, fun, and Drift, 100% agree. I'll fight anybody who doesn't like this song. If you really listen to this song, it's just a gorgeous, really interesting composition. I mean, I thought Trey sounded great during this version. I love this song too. It's also a song that I listened to a lot during the pandemic, and it was like during quarantine, and it was gorgeous. I love this song. I thought the first beginning of the set was great.
Yeah, it kind of, and like to extend it into the latter, like to the middle part of the set, I felt like there were a lot of songs that weren't necessarily rare or like total shocks when they were played, but they were kind of played in placements I wasn't necessarily expecting it. And I definitely enjoy when I'm surprised when a song is starting. I don't necessarily expect a certain song to come. And like, perfect example is Drift While You're Sleeping is played. That comes down. They're probably going to bring it down a slight notch at that point in time, but rather going like an overt ballad, they go Strawberry Letter 23, which is just this cover that has like fully been embraced by the band in such a cool way. It brings everybody back to the Baker's Dozen.
I got to say, I think this is the best version they've ever played of that too.
I felt right there with you.
That they have in the past been a little not quite 100% there on the song. Like I love the commitment. I love that they want to play it. It's a great song. But this one, I feel like they really like it felt right. And the bridge in the middle, the instrumental bridge it's very short, but it just felt like a real lift. Like I just loved it.
Yeah. I think, the only note I took on that was Fish has put their stamp on this song.
Yeah,
exactly.
It has the quality that like rock and roll, Good Times, Bad Times, Drowned has, where this isn't just Fish playing a cover song. It's Fish embracing a song and making it their own in their own way. It's I don't know. I feel like we're going to hear this much more regularly going forward because like to your point, John, they just nailed it.
If it's going to be like this, then absolutely let's hear it more.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Stealing Time follows. I was not aware of this. It was the first version since 2019. The last one.
No idea.
Played.
I would have guessed they played it last year for sure. I mean,
I know. Me too.
No idea.
especially because it's, to me, it always was such a like quarantine pandemic song. You know, got the
perfect for
dreams
the
of being
time.
free. Like that's when that song
Yeah.
really like clicked for me. I always just was like, meh about that song before, but then listening to it then in that context, I was like, you know, just it really hit me. So I was shocked to hear it hadn't been played since then either.
Yeah.
58 shows since its last
damn.
performance on 12/8/2019. By far the longest gap it's ever had. The next longest, just for comparison's sake, is 22 shows back between 10/21/18 and 6/19/19. I mean, it's definitely been on a broader rotation over the last
Longer
5
leash.
years, a longer leash. Kevin Hogan,
Oh, wait,
Gold
that's hilarious.
Star viewer, says there's been supply chain issues with green tea and Cliff Bars, which is part of the reason why we don't get it. That's good stuff. This version, though, there were like 2 to 3 minutes where Trey went off the rails away from stealing time and took it into a really cool space. And it's the micro jam type of approach where you're not going deep, you're not going 20 minutes, but like you're getting enough of, okay, they're playing around with their songs, which usually foreshadows good things to come.
It's a little mustard.
Yeah, he got super wide for a minute, and I thought it was going to open up, and this turned into a jam.
Yeah. I was
really cool. I mean, they hammered us with this song in early 3.0, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it was cool to see it, though, because I guess it had been a while, and I just didn't know. So listening.
Well, it's got that really
I'm still waiting
throbbing...
for like the 20-minute version of this song because I really like the tone that Trey leans into with it.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it could go dark and long if they wanted it to. But
oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's got that throbbing bass line from Mike that, like, you know, that if they just kind of back off slightly and let the rhythm section carry this, they can modulate into a really cool space. I almost hope, and we'll get to this in the second set, but like, I almost hope that the inspiration around any song can jam could have an effect on a song like this if they decide to bring it back, because they clearly can take it somewhere the same way that they took Jim for a little bit of a walk last night, you know, nothing crazy, but just like a little bit of like a push outside, as well as Timber. Both those songs like had moments of transcendence outside of the original structure of it. What were your thoughts, David, as they were kind of evolving throughout the set?
Yeah, I mean, the Jim, Camel Walk, Timber, like that little run was very kind of 1.0-y. It just felt like the old days. It was really fun. Got a lot of Mike. That was like Mike's kind of feature segment of the set for me. You could really hear him turned up. It was super fun, super spacey, a lot of vibrato, really cool. And, you know, what's been really neat, and, you know, I heard it in the shows that I wasn't at before Deer Creek, but, you know, Paige is really into the synths right now. Really into the synths, and I'm a huge fan of that. You know, I just love those sounds, and it just made for a really fun chunk of music. Really fun.
Yeah, it was good, fresh spins on old songs, which is always a fun thing to hear. You know, it's cool to hear them attack new songs with creativity, but to then go back to songs they've played 100+ times and be like, we're going to put this new spin on it. Megan, what were your thoughts as we were moving through the first set here? I know that you caught up late, but like, what were your thoughts listening back to it?
Yeah, it was really fun to hear Jim come back. We haven't had one in a little while. And it was nice with this like little micro dram at the end too. Camel Walk was a good version, and Timberhoe is not really my favorite song, but I really liked this little jam at the end that they did. I thought it sounded really cool. I thought they were kind of doing a little bit of the stuff that they did to Down and Split Open too, with just like you were saying, David, like really like spacey, like synthy, cool stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. This was the first Jim in 16 shows. The last one was 10/30/2021. The Animals set. Maybe they were putting some of these animal songs,
Camel
just
Walk,
like
actually.
Camel Walk as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Taking some of taking some of these animal songs and just, you know, holding off on them a little bit before they brought them back.
You know, I just want to say, I think of Megan as my ally in so many things, as being, you know, a 1.0 fan like myself. But what do you mean you don't like Timberhoe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll jump on that.
Damn. Put that on the list.
It's a dancey thing, you know, so I'm like a big dancer. You know this about me. And Timberhoe is a really weird song to dance to.
Oh, I got some great moves. We can talk about it offline. I've got some great moves, so I can walk you through it.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, same,
awesome.
to be
I'm
honest.
on board for
like,
that.
you know, they'll play it at Raleigh. We'll bust moves. You'll see. It'll be great.
Okay, perfect.
Join us at 1 for Dance Lessons with HFPod. That's our another spin-off podcast that we'll be doing.
God.
Megan's
Don't
going to
even
lead us
get me
through it.
started. This would
Dave's
be
got
like
us
my
today
dream.
because we're going to be going with the hypnotic funk of Timberho. You know, your point about dancing is going to become relevant again when we get to the extremely controversial encore that we're going to be talking about.
Ryan, dancing is always relevant. Always relevant.
But it's very relevant when we
Fair.
get to that because my wife had made a very good point about it when we were watching the show last night. But I will just say, Timber, please go listen to the 11/16/97 version.
Mm.
Don't do anything else after we end this podcast. Listen to that and then tell us what your thoughts are. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
Your ability to pull out dates blows me away. I just want to say it. It just kills me.
If I could do the
Me
same thing with stocks, it would be actually really beneficial.
Right?
But you know,
Yeah.
here we are. We know fish. Julius, great spot for
Classic.
Julius. I thought it was going to close the set. I love the
Yep.
double set closer. It was right around, I think, like 67 minutes. It would have been a short set 2 or set 1
Right.
had it closed at that point. But Split Open and Melt, like, give me just like creepy, weird late 80s, early 90s fish that then goes
Yep.
off into this like blissy space jam to close out the set. What was this like in the venue? Because this looked amazing.
Yeah, I wrote down the Jedi Jam. I mean, it got super weird, and it's funny
Like it.
because my friends and I have been talking for the last day and a half or 2 shows, whatever. It's been happy fish all the way through, like really happy. A lot of blissy jams, just super fun. And then this got dark, and the jam just got super weird, and it was really cool. And really, unsuspecting with Julius, we're thinking Julius was going to end it, and then the melt was just really what we needed, and it kind of put a question mark on the set and on the show, and like, what's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a good way to put
Yeah,
it.
Julius is like a period, right? And
Yeah.
every Julius is
Right.
the best Julius when you're watching it, when you're there.
Right.
Like it's
Totally.
always fun, it's always a
Mhm.
blast,
Right.
and it feels like it could close. But then to play that Split Open and Melt, which is improbably only 12 minutes long, it's like time gets a little lost and fuzzy in the middle of there. And what a great dark. Trey uses the backwards, like the reverse delay,
Mhm.
and it just gets super weird in the best way, and
Yeah.
then finishes properly. So
They've been crushing Melt lately. I feel like
It's true,
the versions lately have just been so good.
Yeah,
It's
super fun.
you were talking about it, Dave, like the synthesizers. The impact of Page's synthesizers are felt across a wide array of songs, but I feel like they're felt no place better than in Split Open and Melt when they get into that dissonant spacey zone and he moves over to the synths and just like the whoa, 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 just like starts creeping in. Trey follows him. Fishman just like breaks down to an atypical rhythm, and you're in that special zone. Shout out here to Austin Fry. Been chasing Melt for a bit. Got it on my 10th show anniversary in my home
Awesome.
venue.
Awesome.
That is a
right on.
good vibe here. And yeah, the 12-minute note, like I would have sworn as I was listening to it that we were 14, 15, 16 minutes into it as it was going off, but time is an illusion with these sorts of things. When they find it and they go, sometimes they don't need to go any further.
I remember right after the set, you were texting. I wasn't watching, so you were texting kind of, micro recap, and you're like, yeah, they stretched this and this, and then a couple minutes later, I posted, a tweet that had approximate timings, and I was like, they only cracked 10 minutes twice, and you were like, yeah, but there was a lot in there. I'm like, okay, and you're right. Just publicly acknowledge that you were right. Now that I've listened to the show,
One time.
Yeah, this time.
This time. So we break for set.
Yep.
Do you have any set break routines? Do you have any or do you just do you hang out your spot? What do you do at set break?
Well, obviously the lines are long for bathrooms and food. So I try to, I hate to say it, but I try to find a song that I'm okay to walk away and grab a drink like towards the end of first set, so I don't have to worry about it. A buddy of mine grabbed me a water, so I was able to just chill and just kind of sit there and reflect. We had good people around us this time and a ton of space. Of space. Probably had like 6 spots for 2 of us. So
you were on the lawn?
No, I was about halfway back to the pavilion, Mike's side a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
It's great. Yeah,
That's
same seats all 3 nights too, which is really nice. I've never really had that. Super cool
That's
to
so
be in the
cool.
same spot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I
get
love it when
in
that
your
happens.
zone.
Because
me
Yeah.
too.
you don't have to think about anything else. You know how to get there.
Yeah.
After the first night, you know the best path to the can, best path to the beer, best path to the getting out. Everything's covered.
Totally.
You can just be.
Totally.
And
And
just to, like,
hopefully you
vibe
know the
with the
people around
people.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was chill. It was great to chat with sometimes some friends, set break, but I always lose track of time, and then it's like the lights go down and I'm not where I need to be and I get all panicky. I hate when that happens. So it's
Yeah.
always nice
It's
to
the
make sure I'm
worst.
in my seat and ready to go.
Well, and especially last night as the lights go down for set 2, we've
the
been
way, I
getting
called
used
it.
to the like.
Oh, nice.
Who calls
Oh, tell us.
Nice.
I fully call the You Enjoy Myself, which I know they haven't done much at all as we're looking at the stats, but for some, I knew it was coming. We knew we were going to get it this weekend. And I just threw it out there and boom.
We've been getting so used to the 5-minute set 2 opener that
Right.
seems like, hey, you're watching for free, here's 5 minutes of Fish, and then you'll hear the first couple seconds of whatever we're going to go into next, and you're going to then want to jump on the actual webcast. But they decide here we're just going to open up with the Fish song. And I don't think I'm overstating it here. The Fish song. That is it right there.
Anthem.
Yeah.
It's the anthem.
Crowd went nuts. Nuts.
You can hear it even on the live Fish, like the roar of the crowd. Oh, that must have been an awesome moment.
I was on bedtime duty last night for our son, and my wife was watching the show on the patio, which is right outside of his window. And it was super hot here. We had the AC on, and I was like, I don't care. We're opening the window. You need to turn the volume up so that I can put him down and listen to this You Enjoy Myself in the same time. But it was the first set 2 opening You Enjoy Myself since 5/9/89. Many 99 heads would recall that there was a jam into You Enjoy Myself on 10/10/99. Not technically You Enjoy Myself opening the set, but this was the first true second set You Enjoy Myself opener that has a really cool rip and jam, goes into drums and bass, goes into the vocal jam, and like they did it on New Year's Eve, they take the groove in the vocal jam. Trey picks up his guitar and starts jamming again. What did you think about this moment, David?
That was amazing. I mean, that was it. I mean, I'm used to the long vocal jams, and then the song kind of just fizzles from, not fizzles, but we know it's going to happen from there. It's kind of just a little bit standard. For him to kind of come back and just, not even go back to where he was, but kind of take it to another place. I'm like, this could turn into, we're going to get like a 40-minute You Enjoy Myself right now. Like, this is going to be, potentially, But I mean, the vocal jam was really fast. I mean, it was like a 3-minuter, I mean, I could be off, but like, it was super cool though, because I don't need a long vocal jam. I mean, it's adorable, but like, I like to see him dance. It's great. I mean, Trey's a great dancer, but I wanted the jam, and it came in hard, and it was awesome. It was just awesome.
You gotta wonder if after 40 years, they're kind of like, okay, what else do we do with the vocal jam? Let's figure something else out here. Right? We got to do it, but what else can we really do here?
I mean, I think when they did it over New Year's Eve, it was so amazing. And I felt like that was such a great version of You Enjoy Myself. And it was so cool to see them kind of like go for that vibe again and try it again. And I thought it was awesome. I'm not a huge vocal jam person, so picking up those instruments and going back into cool jam. And then the way it ended in Wave of Hope, I thought it landed like really nicely.
Yeah.
I thought it was a beautiful transition. Listening back, I had to like stop and go listen to it twice because I just thought it sounded so good.
I like vocal jams, but where's the thing? Oh, here. I have no complaints. This was good. This was good.
Buddy.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I got that. I don't know. It's in my stash. I think I got it in Vegas. But the jam, it reminded me a little of like Sigma Oasis, a little like vibe wise. It's not like they were playing that. And it was terrific. I was blasting it outside earlier today while I was watering my neighbor's garden, and it was just beautiful, just good rock. And then to land into Wave of Hope like that it's a cool song, and what they did with that song, outstanding. I think Brian, or was it you, who texted this that morning and said hose in reference
Total
to Wave of Hope? Total
Yeah.
hose. That's it. There it is.
Yeah, I'll just say, so I saw the last You Enjoy Myself in front of fans at the Forum in LA, and I encourage everyone to go back and listen to that, because that version goes into a type 2 jam before the vocal jam. And I don't think that there's like a very small vocal jam that comes after that before going into MoMA Dance. And it's just like, it's a very unique, very cool version of You Enjoy Myself. But I was a little shocked when they kind of faded out and went into Wave of Hope. It was a little more jarring to me than I think it might have been for some of you guys. Ultimately, knowing where Wave of Hope went, I'm cool with it on re-listen. But I am admittedly not a fan of the song Wave of Hope. We don't have to go off on a giant tangent, but I don't personally like the song.
You will be.
It's like a new classic.
Yeah.
And now, and I texted the group last night and I said, me tomorrow on HFPod, A Wave of Hope is the greatest Fish song that has ever been written. Because the joy of a jam that comes off a song like that is that effortless, that just like it's the Santana hose vibe of Where All the Flowers, and Trey's just playing the guitar and every line is just like watering the flowers. It's amazing, amazing jam. And it showcases like when the inspiration strikes this band, it does not matter what song they're playing. It could be Lawn Boy, it could be Tweezer, it could be A Wave of Hope, it could be anything. And when it hits right, they produce an all-time jam. And I thought that jam to me is up there with the Tweezer from Alabama. It's up there with the Light from Charleston as some of my favorite playing of this overall tour. It was Soul Planet from Alabama as well. Just an incredible jam. Probably my highlight of the weekend thus far.
It was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. And just these soaring notes at the end. I loved it. And a beautiful re-entry into the song at the end too. Really effortless.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good
sweet.
re-entry.
You know, it's really weird because I hadn't seen it live. I don't think have I seen it in person? I don't know. We'll deal with that later. But it really reminded me of Aerosmith. I know it sounds crazy, but I closed my eyes and like, it was like, this could be an Aerosmith song with just that bluesy rock portion. And like, it just had this arena vibe that was just super big and just super hot. And then it just turned into this blissful, it was my favorite of the night for sure. And probably of the weekend so far.
I'd like to highlight Shersmith's comment down here in the comment. Thank you. Excuse me, Shermith. I thoroughly enjoy Wave of Hope, a pretty grooving energy, and I really love the progression during the chorus, and I do too. I get the Aerosmith thing, David. It's just a kind of a classic rock vibe, very rapid tempo.
Kind of like, I never needed you like this before. Kind of like that whole, just a smacker. It really just.
It's interesting how Trey went back to his roots with so many of those songs that he wrote during the pandemic. Of like, you're talking just like 70s arena rock. Like, what do I need to write in my studio, in my apartment here when I cannot go outside in New York in the spring of 2020? I'm going to write stuff that I'm going to play in front of 20,000 people in 2 years. And that vibe, I definitely pick up on that. I like that. Ben Gardner here. Oh, this is good. I think about ESPN NBA highlight montages whenever I hear A Wave of Hope. I picture LeBron dunking on people with the music in the background. I get behind that.
So good.
It's funny though. I always hear the line when I think of those kinds of montages.
Yeah. Is that coming back soon? When do we get a line?
I hope so. We're going to get a fast version of the line tonight.
Shout out to friend of the pod, Stephen Hayden, who said back in 2013 when he was just getting into Fish that the coda jam to the line reminds him of Deer Hunter's. I'm blanking on the song title now. It'll come to me at some point. But there's a Deer Hunter song from their excellent 2010 record, Halcyon Digest, that he compares the line to, and it's the best comparison. It's a great way to listen to the line. Middle of the second set, we get Bug, Jaboo, and The Howling. What were your thoughts here, David?
Bug was great. I mean, I'll always take a Bug. Nothing too special there. It was great. It was great placement. Needed a little breather, obviously. Bug was great. Jaboo, cool, super cool. Really cool Jedi tones. I mean, just the whews, love that. Just blast off. Crowd always loves it. Everybody's dancing. I mean, you just look back and it's, one of those songs where there's nobody just sitting still. It's just really, really fun. The Howling, my first time seeing it, I'm okay. We don't have to do that too much.
I love it.
Oh, God.
It's just
It's
so
just
funny.
like I'm just counting the minutes that it's taking up of other songs that I'd love to hear. But I'm not a hater. Like I love all Fish. There's no bad Fish for me.
Right,
So
right.
I mean, I'll take it. But my first time seeing it, and I'm fine if it's another 40 shows. So
It's a
but it was
good
played
groove.
well. It was cool sounding. I
Yeah.
don't really need it.
I think
That's fair.
I would agree in the sense that like I liked last night's version. I think my only concern, if I can be concerned, is there's
No
a
bragging.
chunk of sci-fi. I'm not allowed. There's a chunk of sci-fi soldiers in the middle with like Clear Your Mind, the inner portion of Outer, whatever that song title is, the Ninth Cube, that to me were the most creative and unique parts of the Sci-Fi Soldier set. And the Howling is kind of just like, let's vamp and yell for 9 minutes. And
Yeah.
there was some cool jamming, but it reminds me a lot of like the younger brother to Martian Monster. And I'm okay with them coming out. Yeah, it's a tube jam in a song. Uncle Jemima, great
Uncle
call.
Jemima
Great
nails
call,
it.
everyone.
Yep.
There it is.
I mean, Funk City, take me there, please.
Funk City, take me there. Austin Fry, The Howling was a dance party, and everybody was grooving hard.
I mean, that song.
I get it. It's
when you
just
played that song at MSG, Down with Disease, The Howling, The Twist, people were like losing their minds dancing. Like that song is just a dance party. So I get it. It's not like the most well-written song, maybe, but if it hits the right moment, it is like fucking fun. I'm really into it.
Full disclosure, Megan's weekend address is in Funk City. So
it's not just for the weekend either, Jonathan.
There was a lot of discourse around the lyrics of The Howling right after Halloween. And I was like, that's not my biggest issue with this song. Like,
I don't think that's the part you should worry about.
Got a little plinko. Got a little plinko. That took me back. So that was neat.
Yeah, Trey was playing those Jedi tones, and I was listening to it, and I was like, Fishman, can you just like adjust your rhythmic like approach here? Because he was just playing the Howling riff over and over again on the drums, and I was like, can you just adjust this and see where this song can go? And they wanted to stick in it, which that happens.
Yeah.
Did you have a problem with tempos? No, before we go there, I just want to say that, for those who don't love The Howling, they played Good Times, Bad Times right after. They were speaking to you, man.
Totally.
And what a great closer.
Oh,
yeah.
Couldn't have called it better. I mean, it was just perfect. It was so fun. I mean, really ripping, that song just kills. I mean, I always think back to AC, the fun Zeppelin night before Little Feat. And I was lucky enough to be there, and it just takes me back. It was just awesome. I mean, it was just super, super fun. I'll take it anytime. And and I love they don't play it too much. It's a really great one.
Yeah, so
perfect closer.
31 show gap going back to Dick's last year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. They played that. I first saw that at Providence '94, which I guess has some good times in it. So
yeah,
I think they play that song when they've had a good time.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good sign.
I was predicting rock and roll, and we got Good Time, which is like a perfect other song,
rock and roll song.
Yeah.
So you
it's
got the style
rock
right.
And roll for you, Brian. They're saving it for you, Brian.
I hope that they are. I would love. I need a big rock and roll. It's wild. Like we talked on the podcast a couple months ago about a show from 1990, and they play Good Times, Bad Times to close out the main set, and it's just so wild to think about Fish playing Good Times, Bad Times now, 40 years into their career, in front of all these thousands of people, but to then go back to like, if you listen to these early 90s versions, like the approach is still just as earnest, just as heavy, just as like, hat tip to Led Zeppelin while putting a Fish spin on it. It's amazing that they've been able to play that song so well for 30 plus years at this point in time. It's just, and what a badass rock and roll song to really own and nail.
Yeah. Trey sounded amazing.
Trey sounded great. Paige sounded great.
Yeah, they all did. It was awesome.
And they come out for the encore. And at some point...
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Oh, we're out of time.
I go.
I'm going to speak very
Oh,
slowly,
the battle of the encore.
and I'm going to try to speak clearly here. No. They come out for the encore. I had seen at some point during the show, I was looking at fish.net, that they played this slow maze in the sound check. And I kind of figured it was like either they played a section of maze and they were working things out, or someone misheard something. But they come out and, like, sure enough, they're playing maze. They're just playing at like half the speed. Were you thrown off, David? Were people freaking out? Like, what was the vibe like when this started?
Well, I also saw the sound check, and so we were joking throughout the show, like, when's the slow maze coming? And we left our seats to go down and dance in the concourse, because we had to get back out and vend right after. So, you know, I always go sort of hang by the exit, which gives me a ton of space, which is awesome. And sure enough, the slow maze came, and, you know, I say, amazing. Can I be that guy? I mean,
Do
it was
Be that guy.
You
cool.
sure can.
It was fun. I mean, like, I'll take it. It's a silly, funny fish. Like, let them do it. I mean, they're allowed to be goofy.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it's like, it's not a song I'd ever predict a slow version of. You know, like, I wouldn't have, like,
Yeah.
if you told me to pick 10 fish songs that they could do slow versions of, Maze would not make my list.
Tell us one.
Right.
You're on the spot. That's fine. No, don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
But, you know, it's it was cool. I mean, I'll take it. I don't see it becoming a big, you know, part of the repertoire, or maybe it does. I don't know. Are they just kind of preparing us for the fact that they're all, you know, cresting on 60 years old, and that it's going to be all slow soon? I mean, who knows?
I mean,
Nah, they
I
got
think
20
they're
years
just
before
being
that.
funny.
really know.
I think they just think it's funny. I mean, someone said that when they both came out, that Mike and Trey were just like smiling at each other, laughing as they started. And
Oh, yeah.
you can
Oh,
hear
they
them
were
like
laughing.
yeah, you can hear them having fun while they're doing it, because they're like making mistakes. You know, it's hard to switch the tempo,
Yeah.
especially with the singing. That seemed like the hardest part. And I just felt like they were having
Right.
such a great time. Like, and
Yeah.
guys, we really want fish to have a great time. Okay, we really do.
Mhm.
That's like better for us
Yeah.
when they have a good time.
They've played this song over 300 times, and
Yeah.
to play it at that tempo, you know, yes, they are professional musicians and they listen to the drummer and they follow along, and I think musically they had did a pretty good job of it. The singing is so much more reliant on muscle memory that
Yeah.
it was really, like, you could see and you could hear it was difficult to adjust that. And
when they came back in
and-
after Trey's solo,
Right.
Paige and Mike
Yeah.
came in
Yeah.
fast, and they had to like slow down again.
yeah, it was really, I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be difficult. I mean, it's playing. So I remember something years ago, somebody was interviewing Mike, and he talked about how what he thought he knew about funk completely changed when he saw Bootsy Collins play in New Orleans, and how slow and frankly more difficult it is to play real funk music slow. And
Sure.
and I think that applies across the board. Like, to play slow sounds simple, but to play something that complicated at half speed or 3/4 speed or whatever that really was it's a real challenge, particularly when you have to think, particularly with again, muscle memory, just being able to like stop yourself from chasing through the riff or whatever you might normally do. I'm impressed, frankly. I thought it was very cool, very creative, and yeah.
As Les Haddis says, it's like playing a new song. But to your point,
Absolutely.
Jonathan, they know the actual song that they are playing, but they're playing it in a new way, and that challenge is like it was ever present on stage.
And in a way
Right.
that's totally different than they usually play it. And, you know, when you've been playing together for this long, a lot of it is just, like you said, Jonathan, muscle memory. And it happens organically without you having to really think about a lot of it. So it's pretty cool.
And it's worth noting that
Yeah.
we know from earlier this tour and MSG, they can play a fast maze. It's not like they
That
can't.
maze was amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
I want to just address one thing, Dave. You mentioned this, perhaps offhandedly, but I'm going to take it and run with it because I think it's really interesting. The idea of, are they setting us up for things getting slower in the future? I don't necessarily think that Fish is saying like 10 years from now every song will be half speed, so get ready for it, and we're just going to drop little versions here. But I do think that there is something instinctually that, like, they are getting older. These songs are really, really hard to play. There are reasons why they did not play Fluffhead for a 4-year or for 2-year period in time of active playing. Other reasons, but like, they've stopped playing songs for certain reasons because they simply cannot play it on stage in front of an audience. I think that Fish's songs are going to be really, really hard to play in 20 years, just with like the natural evolution of the body and the speed with which some of these songs are played now versus in years past. I think it's a cool artistic move to say, is there something else we can get out of this song? And when you hear Maze at last night's pace, it kind of sounds like Steam. The lyrics are suddenly way creepier than they are when it's played really fast. It's got a cool groove to it. Like, it opens up another door that if in 10 years we hear mostly slow llamas and slow mazes versus fast versions of it, it's opening new avenues for the band, and it's more like artistic creativity going forward. I think you're absolutely right. There's a fun aspect, an in the moment aspect, but I kind of get a sense instinctually that like they are thinking, what is coming next? Where are we going next? And
I don't know. I
maybe
think
wrong, but
stop playing if they can't play the songs the way they want to play them. But I think they'll write new songs then that they can play. Like, that to me is what Fish would do. They would just write songs that they can play. I don't know.
Fish is more about now than 20 years from now.
Sure. I guess what I'm thinking is like they're adapting in the moment to how they can play right now and giving themselves an opportunity to play a song like this at this pace is both fun in the moment, but also is not as hard on them from a physical standpoint. Because Maze is a really, really hard song to play. And
that was hard mentally what they did.
That's a good point. Yeah, that was a huge challenge.
Way harder. Yeah.
Either way, I loved it. I thought it was really fascinating. I thought it had a very cool groove. And I thought it closed out the show really, really great. I don't know if you caught it. I mean, you were in there, David. The lights stayed off for a significant amount of time after Maze ended.
Right.
Tell us about this.
We thought, more than I've ever felt it at a show that I can remember, that they were going to come back out again.
I felt it from home. They kept it on the stage. And I was like, we're doing it.
Wild. I mean, the crowd was roaring, and it went on for a good, let's say, 3 minutes, which if you count out 3 minutes, that's kind of a long time. And then finally the house lights go up, and we're like, oh. But yeah, it really, we thought they were coming back. And I mean, Brian, you can probably pull the last time they did a double encore, but from the
Hampton,
like, came back out.
Hampton 18, yeah. 10/21/18, but it's been a while. I mean, it's like 4 years. Like, it would have been rare. It would have been special. It would have been very Deer Creek-esque. Ben Gardner here says, I agree with David. I thought for sure they were coming back. That was a fun moment. Shermith totally was expecting a double encore. They didn't go to the credits for so long. Yeah, like the screen, the camera just hung on the stage. It was dark. You could see people with like their hands up, just like freaking out that they were coming back. And then the house lights came on, and I was like, all right, time to get the patio cleaned up and ready to go to bed. But it felt like we were getting that.
Yep. But so be it. Tonight's another night.
Brian, you said you had something relevant about dancing to tell us. Is this the moment?
Well, that's a great point. So Maze, this all gets back to what we were talking about with Maze. My wife and I were watching the show last night, and Maze is not one of her favorite songs. And she was listening to it, and she was like, I could groove really, really hard to this version of Maze. Like this gives me the opportunity to boogie to Maze. And so, like, to your point about timbre, like, and to partially my thought, like the groove that these fast songs get when they move into a slower version, it opens up it's another pocket for jamming and another pocket for grooving. So I'm into it.
Yeah.
I want to reply to Chris R. You put his comment up on the screen a little bit ago. He says, "Let's be honest, we're all getting old. The mirror's secret is I'm losing my hair." Another line from that same song is, "Focus on today and you'll find a way. Happiness is how, rooted in the now." So don't sweat the hair. As I
Good
can say,
point.
embrace it. And also, related and unrelated, Taper's Choice, a fairly new jam
love
band
them.
from out west. Love them. Just tweeted, "Be right back, rewriting all our tunes in a, quote, slow funk style."
So awesome.
Those guys are
God
great.
bless
I've
those
seen them like
guys.
3 or 4 times. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah,
I
I
Those
wanna
guys
see
are
them.
amazing. We
talked
love
to a
them.
couple of them on my other podcast, and love that band. Love that band.
We love them here at Osiris and HFPod. We are huge fans. What is it? The Dave Check? The Dave Check, yes. Is that the song? What the song is
Yeah.
called?
Yep.
Yes. That
The donor rap.
the donor rap. All right, so we are 2 of 3 nights into the Deer Creek run. David, how are you feeling going into night 3? Sunday night show.
Super excited. Love a Sunday show. Love the closer. I mean, anything's, a lot of songs they haven't done, a lot of potential. It's Deer Creek. We have so much going for us. We've got the Deer Creek, we got the Sunday, we got the end of tour.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
The amphitheater is our oyster.
There it is.
I'm
There you go.
really looking forward to tonight. Really looking forward to it. And I really appreciate you guys having me on. This has been great. Super fun time.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
good to
man.
chat.
Thank you for hanging with us. Good luck out in the lot today. David is
Yeah, they're yelling right. You probably can't hear it. They've yelled for me like 3 times, like, "David, we need you," which is a great
Good.
sign. That
It's a
means
good
we're,
problem to have.
That's a good sign. Well, we're gonna
We're
let you
yeah.
go. David from
Awesome.
Section 119 has been hanging with us. This has been awesome, man. And we
Cool.
we'll look forward to talking with you a little bit further down the road.
Thank you guys so much. Love what you do, and I'm here for you if you need me.
Hope to see
Awesome,
meet you in
man.
person this summer.
All right. Yeah,
Nice
as
chatting
well.
with you.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Have a great show.
Thank
All right.
We did that. That was great. That was a lot of fun. I want to say again, I really liked last night's show.
Me
I think
too.
that it just shows that they can just keep doing it. Repeats don't matter,
Mhm.
but there's still plenty of songs. Strawberry Letter 23 is a perfect example of a song that, nobody was looking for.
Yeah.
Really. Maybe I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, I really want to see Strawberry Letter, but on the whole, nobody was looking for that song to pop up. And not only did it pop up, but it's really good. And there's so much more, just as David said, like stuff they haven't played, good repeats to come. Will they play Tweezer? Why is the answer yes?
Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah. So much great stuff happening tonight, I think.
I think they've
I'm just
also, like you
looking-
mentioned earlier, Brian, just like the variety of set listing has been really cool. Like even without the no repeats, I think they've just been playing some cool stuff that is unexpected, which is so fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Last night was, I think just like a very strong overall Fish show that I really enjoyed. It was unexpected highlights. Pretty much everything I enjoyed from last night, I wouldn't have expected if I had like tried to craft down a set list based on how they're playing shows of late. Talking about like the third song, Drift While You're Sleeping, the Stealing Time, Split Open and Melt. That's probably the most expected one, but the You Enjoy Myself, A Wave of Hope to open set 2, and then the Slow Maze in the encore. Like that adds to it's humorous, it's grooving, it's surprising,
Creative.
creative.
Exactly.
It's this endless creativity around their music that I love and I will continue to return to. So we as a team will be back here tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, to chat through Fish's. Well, we're going to talk pre-show. We're going to hang out pre-show tonight. And then we're going to come back at set break as well. We're going to do another set break hang. Whenever that happens, that's going to usually be around like 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll come on at that point in time, do a little more hang, see what our thoughts were on the first set. And then we'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern to recap tomorrow's show. And tomorrow we have Nicholas Hamilton joining us to talk through Phish's final night of the spring tour. And we will give you a preview of what's to come over the next couple of weeks during tomorrow's show. So really, really excited for tonight's Phish show. And we will we'll see you all for pre-show hangout a little bit later.
Now, do we want to just warn everybody that the pre-show hangouts are a lot more rigid and structured than these things, right? So
They're
just
super
understand we
serial.
got a tight schedule. It's very serious business. No, wait.
There's a lot we
I
have to
got that
get through.
backwards, I think.
There's a lot we
They're
have to
so
get
fun. They're very loose. They're super fun. It's a good vibe.
And Chris R is reporting an early show start time tonight, so we have to check on that and check our socials. Watch HFPod Twitter, and Megan's really good about you're over there. Sorry, is really good about pointing, announcing these things, and so keep an eye on it. If you like to watch us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you'll know that we or any of our good friends go live on this feed. You will be informed and follow it.
It's a very good point.
7 p.m. instead of
7 p.m. I'm just noticing it. So I'm going to adjust our start time. So everyone out there is aware. We'll be going live for pre-show at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we will be going live for our
whenever set break happens.
Set break whenever it happens. We'll just do it. So we'll see you all at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for a pre-show hang before the band opens up the webcast. Till then, everyone have yourself a great Sunday. We will talk with you all here soon.
Thanks all.
Bye, everyone.